What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris C. Pup Surratt, bringing you another edition of UFC Fight Review. Tonight we'll be reviewing the UFC 293 held in beautiful Australia, showcasing in the main event one of our favorite fighters, Israel Adesanya, facing a journeyman of sorts, man that's been around for quite some time, been up, been down, our guy Sean Strickland. But first, let us go over a beautiful night in UFC fighting. It was packed full of great knockouts, great knockout celebrations, great shows of showmanship and honor, and a great main event. So let's go break down those fights, just those main fights. A great set of prelims this evening as well, but let's knock out those main events. First was a very, very awesome fight. We had Tyson Pedro going up against Anton Turkalj. You know how I love those names. Our boy Tyson Pedro going against Anton Turkalj. Great fight. Ended in round one when Tyson popped Anton with a couple of nice ones. Shook him for a second. Knocked him to the ground. Jumped on top of him. A couple of hammer fists, and it was over. Beautiful fight. Love to see it. And like I was saying, Tyson Pedro came off with one of the rare, rare good-looking celebrations after he won his fight, when he did the sword release and sheath. You might not know what that is, so you're gonna have to watch the fight. But he did what was called the sword release and sheath, and it was stellar. It was magical. It was a great fight, great knockout. Congratulations, Tyson Pedro. Up next, we saw a really good fight between Justin Tafa and Austin Lane. Another great fight, another TKO. It was one of those fights where, you couldn't really tell who was going to come out on top at first. I watching the fight, I've heard of both of them, never really seen either one of them fight, but Justin came out swinging. Really a great fight. Knocked Austin out in that first round again. Another first round knockout. You know how I love those. So, great fight. Congratulations, Justin. Can't wait to see more from him. Up next, we saw a back and forth match, real back and forth. You could really say that Manuel Capa was going up against Felipe Dos Santos. Manuel dominated it. I thought it was more back and forth than anything else. I really, when it got to the final round, I wasn't sure, except for he had him. He was on top of him, dominating him from the top. Manuel was, and I think that really won him the fight. But great fight, great acts of showmanship afterwards. So, congratulations, Manuel. Hope to see more from you as well. Now, let's get to the co-main event. The co-main event was between really great fighter Alexander Volkov, and he was fighting Taya Tuivasa. I'm sure you've heard of these fighters if you're really big into UFC like I am. Back and forth in the first round, lots of up and down, and then of course Volkov, second round, got on top of Tuivasa, dominating for a second, got that Ezekiel choke on him, and took him out. Great win by Alexander Volkov. And I was talking earlier about the signs of showmanship, and at first it was just where Tuivasa was laying on his back, and Volkov rolled over, and for me at first I thought he was imitating. I thought he was trying to make fun of him, but he was showing respect to him, and they embraced after it. It was just one of the more fulfilling signs of showmanship that I've seen in the UFC in a long time. Volkov, great, honorable fighter. Great signs of showmanship. Really respectful. I loved every minute of it. So, back to it. Great fight. Excellent win by Alexander Volkov. We will definitely see more of him. We'll definitely see him down the line. See if he gets his championship shot. Now, let us get to the main event. Our African King, one of the three, last of the three, because is Ngannou still at his belt? No. He was the last of the three. Going against Sean Strickland. Guys, Sean Strickland pretty much dominated this fight from the get-go. And of course, we're going to go to our favorite commentators, RC and DC, and see what they said about the fight. Let's check it out.
Coming off of this weekend in UFC 293, I've never hid the fact that I'm a huge Israel Adesanya fan, but going into this fight, I felt like it was a total mismatch in striking against Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland shows up with an unorthodox style, and what was crazy is he managed to stay out of kickboxing range the entire fight. He had an answer for the leg kick. He found ways to let the jab find home, and also, let's think about the first round knockdown. Even in Israel Adesanya's loss to Alex Pereira, we never saw him hit the mat. And we know what stone hands does. And so for me to watch this fight and see that knockdown early, I wanted to see, okay, has Izzy recovered? Is Izzy back to his old self? And he was able to move around the octagon. He was able to recover in the second round, in the round that he won. But 3, 4, and 5, to me, were dominant for Sean Strickland. And to watch him at the end of that fight screaming at Izzy, or to hear him after the fight say it felt like I was fighting an amateur. We're not just talking about any old champion. We're talking about Israel Adesanya, who has reigned atop the middleweight division for years. And through that reign, we've seen his skill, we've seen his tenacity, we've seen his toughness. And so you have to give all credit to Sean Strickland. So many people are saying Israel wasn't the same. Dana White, Israel Adesanya looked slow. You can't give him those excuses, because there's been so many times where his slow or not looking the same has allowed him to hear and steal from Bruce Buffer. And so Sean Strickland fighting for the everyday working man, a dude that says, I just love to fight. The psycho tendency of not caring about being punched in the face, being able to come forward and move forward constantly, that won him the belt. And it says something to me about the UFC. It isn't about being knocked down. It's about, what do you learn through those knockdowns? What lessons do you learn? Can you come back? What sort of emotional and mental fortitude do you have? And so along with the physicality, Sean Strickland was able to show that he's as good a fighter as anyone in that weight division by beating the reigning and dominant champ Israel Adesanya in his prime.
And guys, Sean Strickland really, after that first knockdown, when Sean Strickland hit him with that straight shot, he fumbled Israel. Israel was on the ground. He got on top of him, and he was beating the shit out his ass. I thought it was over. I kind of thought that the referee took too long and should have stopped the fight, kind of. But of course he didn't. My man Israel got back up, got himself back together, and he finished out the fight. But even in the other rounds of the fight, it was no signs that Israel was, gonna win, gonna dominate, gonna come back, gonna knock Sean Strickland out. Sean Strickland dominated this fight. interesting to watch. And, you know, I always try to root for the underdog. I love the underdog, but I'm an Israel Adesanya fan. So I was disappointed, but no. Sean Strickland showed us greatness. He dominated Israel Adesanya. Dominated. Should have took him out in that first round. Should have took him out. But it was a fantastic fight. And of course, our man Israel Adesanya lost with grace. Stood in the ring, gave Sean Strickland his flowers, never wilted, and he'll be back. I know it will be. No doubt in my mind. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Shit, we're gonna go live eventually. I'm just gonna stay consistent and give y'all these good shows. But soon and very soon we will be doing a live show showing you this pretty face and talking about UFC, real estate, music, and the world. I'm your boy Chris C. Pup Surratt. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of UFC Fight Review, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
I bet that nigga shut up. Ooh, I can't let up. Fast car, get up. Have your block wet up. Gotta hold your head up. They tried to knock me down, but I had to get up. I have my goons at your block and the fucking shit up. Swallowed it. She did it.